Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is the Fragments. It was written by Steffen Schütte and translated into English by Pascal Breitenfeld, who is also our game master. And this is episode 3. Our recap will be given by Brian Ridge as his character, Joseph Prince Esquire. But before we begin, I would like to mention that we have a new patron. Chase Kapner has pledged $3 a month to our club. Thank you so much, Chase. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Brian?
Frau Ehrlich, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing while sitting comfortably on a train headed towards Seehausen to give you an update on our efforts to find your husband. We spent time in Göttingen tracking Dr. Erling's comings and goings. It seems he created a bit of a ruckus at a local university during a guest lecture by putting forth some sort of theory that his colleagues found quite controversial. From what we can gather, your husband claims to have discovered a lost letter from the author Jacob Grimm that reveals details that cast his written work in a new but controversial light. We spoke to the matron at the boarding house where he stayed and learned that evening after the lecture he received a visit from a female student, a quite attractive student, I am told. Shortly later, he ran out of the room in his nightgown in a fit of excitement, presumably upon some sort of revelation related to his studies. Speaking with a neighbor, we learned he ran towards a nearby park. Assuming that there was something there that interested him, we visited it ourselves and found a lovely pond with a mysterious statue of a water nymph surrounded by small aquatic animals, frogs, snakes, etc. It was a queer piece of work, and we are unsure of its significance to your husband. It was designed by one Jacob Yoke, a name that did not ring a bell amongst our team until young Mr. Lack visited the university library. Mr. Ehrenbert and I visited the local train station and discovered that your husband purchased a ticket towards Seehausen on the following morning, which is where we are heading now. Our hope is that the locals can provide some insight as to your husband's location and state of mind. Our current theory is that your husband made such a revolutionary discovery that it must have driven him into such a fit of excitement that he lost control of his faculties. Perhaps he will get better over time, but perhaps not. I do hope to bring you good news, but should our investigation come to an unfortunate conclusion, please be assured that I will be there for you as a friend should you need a hand to hold or a shoulder to cry on. We will be staying at the Hotel Golden Lamb in Seehausen in case you need to reach us. Do take care of yourself, Joseph.
Thank you. So when we left up last, we had Hans and Dr. Prince in a strange dream, and we'll take a step backwards into with the other players into the train. Hans and Dr. Prince fell asleep while the train was driving on. And a young man, who got into the train with the rest of you, starts talking to the lot of you. Basically, he seems to be looking for conversation. He is very indiscriminate. He's a young guy, about average height. Has slim features, brown hairs. His hair is a little bit disheveled, and he's wearing quite a good suit, but it doesn't look like he's taking care of it very well. And he's turning to Daniel. And where you driving to? If you don't mind me asking.
Pascal, I'm trying. We were going to Keeper, we were going to not going. We're leaving Göttingen, going to
Yeah, you're leaving Göttingen and by train to Seehofen.
Seehausen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Seehausen. Where are you?
Ah, me too. I actually from Seehofen. Nice to meet you. My name is Carl Friedrich Yilman. What brings you to this shitty town at the ass end of nowhere?
Oh, I heard a festival is coming up and it's on the trainway.
Oh my God! You don't want to tell me you're going to the rifle festival? Is that this weekend? Oh my God!
Mostly to meet an old friend, but wasn't my first choice.
I can tell you the best thing you can do is leave that town. I myself, I'm just going back there. I'm going to organize a little strike with the within the factory of my father. This town has to be shaken up.
Sounds like a serious endeavor, considering everything.
Yeah, sure. Those bourgeois system compliant cowards in that town, they have to take a good kick. I tell you. And he's droning on about Marxist theories and
I don't even know if Daniel says much. I think he just kind of lets the guy wind himself out.
Does Daniel look like he needs a rescue from this random stranger?
Well, you can't make it obvious, but you know, I know that Walter knows him well enough to probably know when he's just letting someone exhaust themselves.
Okay.
Like adjusting their sleeves a bit, checking their like cufflinks.
Yeah, Daniel looks a little bit uncomfortable. And the young man is just going on. Do you know anything about Seehusen?
No, not that much actually. Would you care to tell me about it?
I can tell you a lot about this great town of ours. It's a high cultural center. If you want to join the Hearts Club and go wandering in the nature with dear head teacher Dr. Schmieke, and maybe you want to join the rabbit breeder society, and if you're in really good standing with that idiot chairman, you might even get a chance to have one of those little garden lots appointed to you. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, it's just, but you have to take care. If you get on the wrong side with the mayor, he's one of those who uses the police as like his private army. So better take care, man.
What's your mayor's name?
Greaser. He's been in office for like, I don't know, 12, 14 years, something like that. Strange. Which is, I tell you, strange. He's basically he's like the biggest building contractor in town, but my father and his cronies, they don't even like him. They just stick up with him because the economy is working under him.
You mentioned you had some beefs with your father's company. What do they do?
Well,
you have some problems with your father's company.
Well, he's one of those rich industrial types.
What do they produce?
Tin and tin cans.
Tin cans.
There's quite some business in Seehusen, so those workers have to be united. Yeah, and he like goes on. At some point, you reach the town of Nordheim, and the whistle blows, and that is when Hans and Dr. Prince wake up.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Yeah. I'm glad I wasn't impaled on all those thorn bushes. I've been climbing Rapunzel's tower, you see.
These fairy tales seem to be getting to us all.
Usually have a sleeper.
Oh, sleeping in strange beds and then getting on a moving train. It's kind of restful. I'm glad I didn't drool, not much.
You're just out like, I guess, a pile of wood.
So how far is what is it?
Nordheim, it's like
Nordheim. Are we a third of the way on the train schedule?
About half.
Like you're supposed to go.
So it's still sunlight out, although it's later.
Yeah, and there are a couple of new passengers boarding the train. One elderly woman, a bit stocky, comes in. She has two little girls with her. One is might be like 6 years old, 6 or 7 years, and one black haired, the other blonde. And those two girls, as the train starts again, and they run up and down the aisle.
Do they look like her daughters or her granddaughters?
Hard to tell. Could be the daughters, but somewhere in between. Could be either. They are sitting like a couple of booths ahead of you, and one of the girls is like, "Auntie, tell us a fairy tale. Tell us a fairy tale." Okay. And she starts off with the usual, once upon a time, there was a fisherman, and she starts into the fairy tale of the fisherman and the fisherman and his wife. Once upon a time, there was a fisherman living in a shabby shack by a lake. Oh, what lake, Auntie? Well, our lake. What do you think Seehusen got his name by? We used to have a lake long time ago. And you overhear this story because she's talking very loud, and it is kind of strange because you all know this fairy tale about the fisherman who catch the fish, who can talk, and he grants wishes to him and his wife wants more and more. But in her version of the story, he brings his wife to the fish and gives and in fulfillment and in order to fulfill his wishes, he gives his wife as a present to the fish, and she's taken under the water with him.
This tale normally is sort of an object lesson about greed. The wife keeps asking for greater and greater status, and they end up where they started, but not.
Sounds like a story where he makes a deal with the fish to get wishes in return for giving his wife as a sacrifice or a mate for the fish. Very strange.
In the earlier story we heard of the Frog King, he also took the princess down below the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a parallel there as well.
Might be something weird with that lake in that town.
And
There's a bunch of fairy tales about that. If there's a bunch of fairy tales about that, might be something weird that lake.
and while the train is driving on, the girls sit there for some time, then they run around, and at some point the train whistle blows again, and the girls look out of the window and they shout, look, the Sandman, the Sandman.
Look.
Yeah, just like, what?
And you look out of the window, there's like a horse cart up on a hill near the train line. And it's got all those sacks on the back, but on the seat of the horse cart, there is like a harlequin, like a jester in completely colorful clothes with the hat with all those bells on, and it drives parallel to the train, which is going slow at the moment. And
I was going to say I want to tap the gentleman who's been talking with Daniel. I want to tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey, what's that? Is that you're from around here, right?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. I don't know.
Oh, well, the little girls gave it a name, so I thought you.
Well, the girl is running up to that. That must be the Sandman, and those sacks. He has the dreams for the good children. Isn't that right, Auntie? And they run back to their aunt. And as you look over, the cart draws away from the train, but this harlequin looks over his shoulder, and you all got the feeling he's looking directly at you. He's basically a little bit far away to see you through the windows, but you got this strange feeling that he's looking at you.
The sacks in the back of the wagon, they were sewn shut or tied shut. We couldn't see what was in them.
Yeah.
Did it look heavy, like sand or grain, or did it?
Yeah, something like that, like big grain sacks or sand.
Uh-huh.
I want to step back down the aisle and talk to the auntie to introduce myself and ask her what she knows about that.
Oh, it's an old folk tale of the Sandman. I rather think that I was one of the of a carnival or something. But don't you know the stories about the Sandman who brings sand to and the dreams?
I do. I do. I was just the children were so sure of who it was just based on the harlequin.
They got it. They got much of imagination.
Children are wonderful. Are they yours?
No, my sisters.
No, your sisters. You're just taking them for a trip.
Yeah, we have been for a trip, and I'm bringing them back.
Nice. So do you live in the same town, or?
Yes. We're from Seehusen.
We're visiting.
Which we should reach quite within the next minutes, I hope.
Oh, fantastic!
It was an interesting variation on the fisherman and the fish story that you told. We hadn't heard that version before.
Oh, that's how that's the way I learned it from my mother. Well, I didn't know there's another version.
Is your mother still alive?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh.
She passed away.
I'm so
A couple
sorry
of
for your
years
loss.
ago.
You also mentioned that it was your lake in Sehausen. Are there other legends? Are there other fairy tales that you know that have to do with your lake? We'd heard one about the Frog King. You know that one?
I know the fairy tale, of course, about the Frog King, but I don't know any different versions. I just know the one I've been told by my mother. Tell us, Auntie.
Yes, please tell us. You're such a good storyteller.
Okay, and she starts into the Frog King, and it's basically the normal version you all know, but she seems a little bit confused at times. She's fishing for words. She's stopping, and at one point there's the Puss in Boots, which brings a dinner invitation to the king. So she just seems to mix up some fairy tales, but all in all, it's the story you all know.
Does she seem okay? I mean, like, does it seem like she has any mental issues or?
You can do
strange
psychology if you want.
Okay, I would.
I could ask if, does it seem like she's trying to cover up something she does, pretend she doesn't know something?
I failed. I got a 92 in my psychology study.
Okay. You think she's a dangerous psychopath? No, you can tell. You think she's basically she's not that firm in the story.
Like listening to my mother tell a joke.
Okay.
Just kind of wanders around and never gets the right thing.
So, and the train then draws into the station of Seehusen. Like 6, you say, 6 in the evening. And from all what you heard and were told, you basically pictured a very small rural town, but as you draw in, the town doesn't seem all that small. The train passes a couple of factory buildings, and as you step onto the platform, there are quite some people. Looks like they're getting back from day trips or something. Some people have luggage with them, so they seem to be tourists coming here. And you can see that the train station isn't all that small. There's a big industrial train area. So you leave the...
Before we get separated, I'd like to give the girls a small coin and say, buy some ice cream on me.
Thank you. They take it and... Okay. You get into the station hall, and there are quite a hustle for a Saturday evening. There are a couple of bellboys with signs from hotels.
Good thing we booked ahead.
Yeah.
Is there anyone from our hotel?
Did you arrange to get picked up?
No, we just booked a place as far as I know.
Yeah, you booked the Golden Lamb. No, is there
a cab?
None inside the hall.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably, even though the village is larger than we expected, the hotels are probably within a block or two of the train station.
Yeah, there's an info desk where a train employee is giving you information. All of you do a spot hidden, please.
Yes, regular.
I failed.
I got extreme success.
Okay.
What again? Spot hidden? Spot hidden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regular. Yeah.
Okay. Then the ones
Hard.
who succeeded, you notice that there are a couple of notices hung up at their posters for different things. For once, there are posters for the upcoming Rifle Club Festival, which will be on this Saturday and Sunday. But what you notice as well is there are signs with the big heading "Wanted."
The police is asking the general public for help in their search for a distinguished man of about 60 years, 6 feet tall, of lean stature, thinning white hair, and prominent sideburns. The man is wanted for questions concerning the criminal case burned. He lodged under the name Erling in the Hotel Golden Lamb this week and defined himself as a professor of German language. Any information to be immediately brought to the attention of the Schuhausen Police Department. Schuhausen, Friday the 14th, 1926. I feel like
Professor's been getting up to his old tricks here.
I feel like Daniel takes the flyer off, like, is it like stapled to like a wall or like a pole?
Yeah, it's just stapled.
I'll just take it.
You can just pull it off, and there are a couple of these.
Yeah, of course.
And how many days ago was that posted?
What day is it? Yeah.
Today's Saturday.
Yeah,
So this was yesterday.
So it's posted yesterday?
What did he get up to? Who's burned?
Yeah. Have we heard of a Baron?
Yeah, who's a Barrett?
Are we still where we can ask somebody from the railroad?
No.
Yeah, sure.
That's Brunhilde. That's Miss Bernd, who he was traveling with.
The student?
Yeah.
He did disappear, so it was like a missing persons case?
Or, she was found dead.
Oh, no.
Or something.
Yeah, I'm going to go over to the information desk and ask.
Yeah, and elderly clerk is standing there. How can I help you?
Yes, we saw the wanted sign, and I must admit, it made me a little uneasy. Is this something I should be concerned about? Can you give me more details?
Wait, let me see. He's rummaging under his desk and takes out a newspaper. Well, I think this is basically all I know. If you care to take a look.
Certainly. May I have that newspaper?
Oh yeah, sure. I don't need it anymore.
Thank you. Lifeless body found. Seehausen, May 13th, 1926. In the early morning hours of the past day, the comatose body of a young woman was found by passerbys in the vicinity of the municipal pool Redikolk. According to the police, the body was that of 20-year-old Anne Rose B. from Mechhausen. As Chief Constable Schultz informed our correspondents, unknown persons had gained unauthorized access to the premises of the bathing establishment in the night to Wednesday in order to celebrate their, quote, apparently one of those libertinistic orgies, as they are so characteristic for the moral decay of today's youth. In which way the unfortunate Anne Rose B. got into her pitiable condition could not be clarified so far, however. According to the initial witness statements, Miss B had been seen several times over the past few days in the company of an older, distinguished-looking stranger with whom she also made several trips to and from Mechhausen. The police request the gentleman in question to contact them immediately for further questioning. So they just want to talk to him about it.
I wonder if
Dead
her
body,
condition,
or is it just like coma?
right? I wonder if her
Comatose.
condition has changed since then. If she was comatose, she may have recovered. She doesn't say anything about any other injuries. It reminds me, of course, of the attack on Fritz all those years ago. I wonder if
also
the Redicoke Pool is where the lake used to be.
Yeah, like they did when the lady before we went on the train. I remember they said something about how the bathing area is where the lake used to be.
Right. Now, given Erling was in general good health, still he was an older man, spindly. I would expect that a 20-ish hearty German lass could defend herself perfectly well under normal circumstances. And of course, they were traveling together by choice. So I assume the police, I'm surprised the police are approaching it as a matter of he having
Doesn't
being
seem like she
wanted
was
for
injured.
questioning instead of, well, yeah, it's hard to say.
It seems like she just is unconscious and won't wake up instead of being injured, because they would usually they mention if someone was like hit in the head or something.
Well, you're thinking fairy tale again, obviously. We have to get the prince to kiss her. Why they would want to talk to the professor about the orgiastic behaviors of youth is hard to say.
Well, he was seen with her, so
Yeah.
they're just trying to learn more, especially because they traveled together several times from Mechhausen. What is Mechhausen? Is that a town? Is that?
You asked the Clark?
Sure. Yeah.
No. It's Mechhausen is a small village due to the north. It's like you can take during the day you can take the bus. He checks his watch. And, you missed the last bus if you want to go there.
What's the schedule for the bus?
Oh, it goes. Let me see. He looks into a schedule book, and the first bus leaves at 10 in the morning. Then it's 1 p.m., 5 and 5 p.m.
Okay. Daniel, do you have a pad? Can you write those times down?
And
Thank you.
And sir, how big is this village? How many people live there?
I'd say it's like, what would it be? Maybe 100 or 150 people. It's small borough.
Quite small.
Yeah. And you're standing all together?
Yeah. And where is
Hans?
the gold?
Hmm?
I was just going to ask him where the golden lamb was.
Oh, it's in. He gives you a direction. You can take a. Do you want to take a cab, or it's not that far? It's like 5-minute walk.
We'll just carry our stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to
But
see
yeah,
the town.
we're all standing together.
Hans, do a knowledge roll.
43 is a regular, but I only have to spend 1 to make it a hard. Let's do that.
Okay.
Mechhausen.
With a hard success, Mechthausen. You heard this name, this town's name before, and you ponder a little bit, and you get you have this nagging feeling that you know it from somewhere, and as you walk out of the train station, there you see a mother with two little boys, like two rascals. And that moment, you just feel like, you know the town of Mechthausen because the German author and illustrator Wilhelm Busch, who lived like until a few years ago, he spent his last 10 years in that town. He lived there at the parish house.
Did he illustrate for the Grimms?
No. He was he did. I don't know if you guys know Max and Moritz. It's like picture stories of two rascals
Cats and Gemmer.
who are playing tricks. In Germany, it's everybody knows that.
Yeah, we had Katzenjammerkinder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we gather up our
prolific
things
comic
and
artist.
we start to walk. You know, I'm trying to think if the professor has gone off the deep end, he's lost his head. He is enwrapped in fairy tales, and I'm starting to wonder, there's a little bit of a pattern here. I mean, what's the greatest prize when you're in a fairy tale? It's not always the princess or something like that, but it's usually wishes, the ability to have wishes granted. And I'm thinking that if he thinks there's something in that lake that will give him wishes, I'm wondering if he's thinking that he has to sacrifice somebody, like the girl. I wouldn't like to think of him harming somebody, but
In particular, his own daughter is similar in age to this Baird girl. And I don't know what the professor would be wishing for. He has, recently made a great scholarly discovery. He's,
well, maybe he wishes everybody would believe him.
I think it's more of possibly less that he's looking for the wishes, but to prove that the thing that the fish thing that offers the wishes is real. He's looking to find proof of what exists.
Well, whatever it is he thinks he's looking for, just confirms that he's insane. And he needs to be stopped before he actually hurts somebody.
Yeah.
He may have already hurt somebody, the girl.
more to the point, instead of being able to go to the police in this town and say, our professor's had a head injury, can you help us find him? They're already on a manhunt for him.
Right.
In which that poster suggests he's presumed that they're not thinking of him as an injured party who needs assistance, but a dangerous person who's wanted by the authorities. So we're not going to have any help at all. And he has every reason to hide.
I'll have to at least check on, I guess, Annette.
Well, according to that article, she was from that nearby town, correct?
Wanda Rose says, yes. Didn't it say she was from Mechthausen?
And if it's
I
Or
put
she was just
the
been there a lot of
article into the Discord.
I am an ex-police detective. I might be able to go to the police here, go by myself, and simply say that I'm trying to locate this professor, that he caused quite a ruckus in the previous town. And they might bring me on board, and tell me what's going on here so that I can assist.
And do you think I should try to look into, see if Miss Burnt is okay? Maybe she's up.
Yeah,
Well,
I think the rest of you, I think if I go in alone, that'll work. But
well, you do have some special insight into the doctor's background. And also, if this Miss Barrett is from this small village not too far from the north, perhaps it Would it be too difficult to track down her family and inquire about what her interests, how she
It's
knew the
possible.
professor?
Let's get ourselves set up in the hotel, and then I'll go to the police and
I
talk.
concur.
I won't
I have
mention
a-
any of you.
I have a minor inkling of she talked to the professor and she got a new discovery, and they all came the way down to here to go to that town that she supposedly came from.
Perhaps she had some
So I think something she mentioned
insight
about
on
that
like
town inspired him.
local legends, local folklore. She had some information to share, perhaps.
What's the giant cart full of flowers coming to us, though?
And
Was
yet they
the-
kept coming back here. So,
Going back and
so
forth.
there's a reason they came back.
It's interesting. The wanted notice didn't say anything about the 35,000 silk flowers.
Yeah,
3,500.
They kind of bring that up.
So he didn't come in. He hasn't been going back and forth to Maxhausen on a cart full of flowers. Was the fellow dressed as a harlequin tall enough to be Professor Erling?
He would have been tall enough, but he looked much younger.
He did not have
Oh,
white sideburns.
you would have identified the professor if he was that. He had a strange costume on and this cap on, but if it was had been
Wasn't wearing a
Professor
mask,
Erling,
so
you would
his hair.
have noticed.
Unless he's become younger.
His wishes got granted.
He always wished to be a harlequin.
Right.
Wish to entertain the masses eternally.
Are we almost to our hotel? I need to put this back.
Yeah.
You walk down the streets. This is really a nice little town. The streets are quite broad. They're lined with trees. To give you impression. And you reach the hotel. It's quite nice. The bellboy holds the door open, and the porter is very accommodating. He checks you in.
When we signed the register book, do we see Professor Erling's signature there, a couple down?
If you ask like that, do a luck roll.
35. Where's my luck? Yeah, that's actually half. So hard.
So it's hard. Yeah, it's you sign pretty much on the bottom of the page, and he's basically on the first line of the page.
And so based on our timeline, how many days prior did he check in?
He checked in. Where's my timeline? There's my timeline. He checked in on Monday the 10th.
Okay, so we're arriving on Saturday.
Yeah, and it has the checkout date as well, and he checked out on Wednesday the 12th.
That was the day before the lifeless body was found.
Right.
So
And
he
the bomb was
was there for 3 days, checked out on the 12th. That was the day the body of the woman was found.
When did he order the
He
flowers?
has a knack for staying one step ahead of trouble.
Were the flowers ordered on Thursday or was it Friday?
I think they were ordered on Wednesday because we got it. We were heard from Frau Erling on Thursday.
Right. Which means
So he left town and went to that other town. So he came here with her. They went to Mechthausen a couple of times.
They got flowers, and then they ended up in the bathing area, and she went comatose.
Are you discussing this in front of the desk clerk?
No.
Well, up and at the room.
Well, sort of quietly. If he does if he does a good to listen roll, he might be able to.
Yeah.
That's an idea. Oh, okay.
NPCs doing rolls.
05. Yeah, he does. Excuse me, sirs. You are interested in Professor Erling?
Who says this? I'm sorry, the desk clerk?
The desk clerk, yeah.
Sorry.
The concierge.
Concierge.
I don't want to tell story about guests, but there was something strange. He checked out in the middle of the night.
He's been doing other things at night lately. His schedule seems to be very irregular.
Well, yeah, the police has been asking for him. That's basically why.
Was there a young woman with him?
Did the Barrett girl check out at the same time, or did she stay?
No, he was staying alone. No, I can't. At least from the time I was here, I can't remember him having any guests. I think the police asked for that as well.
Was there any other odd behavior from him? We're asking because his wife has asked us, we're friends of the family, to see if we can track him down. He may have suffered some sort of breakdown.
Well, I was on work here that night, and he was very nervous. Well, up to that point, I've talked to him once or twice from when he checked in, but he seemed pretty nice and decent man. He basically stormed in, and must have been something like 1 o'clock at night.
That's when he arrived, or when he.
Well, before he checked out, yeah, he got his key. He ran up to his room, got his luggage, and demanded to check out immediately. And he didn't let me call a cab or anything. He just ran out with his suitcase.
Was he clothed?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Just wanted to check.
Why wouldn't he be?
Well, I could tell you stories. I would like to do an analysis of his. So he signed the guest book when he checked in and checked out?
No, he just signed when he checked in, and the date of the check-in and check-out are filled in another hand.
I'd like to do a handwriting analysis. Does it look like
the clerk checked inserted the date when you checked in, and it's like repetitive. Always a lot of dates are in the same hand.
So all he did was sign his name.
Yeah, he just signed when he checked in, and the check-in date and the checkout date are added by the staff.
I see. Okay.
And in the guest book, there's no Fräulein Bernd.
Not that you could see.
When he checked out in a rush, I know in the past when I've done that, I've forgotten some things behind. Did you find anything in his room that could help us?
No, he didn't leave any personal belongings in that.
I need a drink, gentlemen. I think it's time for us to head upstairs.
Yeah, let's settle into our
What-
rooms. Are we sharing again, or did we get singles?
We got doubles.
It's probably much more reasonable.
Yeah.
Uh,
What time is it?
You tell me. It's now like 7:00 p.m.
I'd like a single room. If
I'll
we
take
could
a
arrange
I'll
that.
take a single room.
Oh, it's fine of a double.
Yeah.
So it's 3 singles and a double.
Hans, you can stay with me. We'll have a double. I know how it is for a graduate student.
This isn't on my Fennig.
I'll be back in a bit to join you, but I'm going to go to the police station. And
Yeah, we'll get a table for 5 wherever the concierge recommends, and you can tell us what the
give them a talk.
local constables had to say.
Hans,
Right.
can you ask someone to bring up a cocktail, gin and tonic, please, something like that?
So
This day of traveling's been hard.
the 4 of you are getting a drink.
So we
Yeah, we might as well get a drink at a place where we can get some food rather than in the hotel.
Oh, they have a
Hotel restaurant. Yeah,
restaurant as well.
good. It'll be
But
easier.
there you passed some pubs and diners, so it would be possible to go out.
I'm interested in watching who's checking in for the festival in this rather nice little hotel. So the hotel tavern is fine with me.
Okay. So Carl, you asked the concierge for directions to the police station. He says
Police station.
basically down the road and next the second to next on the right. The police is located within the what is it called? The town hall.
Okay. And I assume that there's enough going on in this town that there's somebody there 24 hours, probably.
Well, he says when you ask the concierge, he says, "No, the station isn't manned around the clock. I don't know if there's somebody there at this hour."
Well, I'll go by and check.
Okay,
It's 7
so
o'clock.
you walk up to the station, and as you reach it, you see a young guy in a police uniform just leaving the main door of the town hall and he's turning around, locking the door.
Excuse me, officer.
Sir, can I help you?
Yes, are you closing up offices for the evening?
Yes, sir.
I'm Detective Carl Henning. I've just arrived in town a few minutes ago. Do you have a few minutes? I may have some information concerning a poster that I saw on your the wall.
Oh, sure. Wait a second. Do come in. And he unlocks the door. The guy is a little spindly man, might be 30,
Mhm.
freckled face. He leads you into
what's his
the.
What's his last name?
I'm a trainee policeman, Kuno Durke, and you're a detective from where?
From Berlin.
Oh, from the capital. That
Indeed.
must be exciting.
Well, it's a lot more busy. They're open 24 hours there. I thought maybe you would be.
Well, yeah,
as well.
we don't have the people to man the station 24 hours here.
Well, I'll
Not
tell
that
you
much
what.
going on.
I'll tell you what. I was hired by a Miss Yolanda Erling to locate her husband, who is a professor. Now, I've been tracing him through the countryside, and I've ended up in your small town, and I noticed the poster on the wall.
Yeah, we're looking for that man as well. If that is the man who's in connection with young Anna Rosa Bernd.
Yeah, can you tell me any more information? I can tell you that he's been behaving rather oddly, which is why his wife is very concerned. He was on a tour. He canceled his tour. He seems to have run off.
I shouldn't be, of course, usually I shouldn't be talking about this, but as your fellow police detective, I think I can. Yeah, sure. You see, Miss Bernd is a student at the university in Göttingen. She comes from a small town near here. It's Mechthusen. It's a
Mechthusen,
small village close by. And from what we could find out, she was found in the early morning hours of Wednesday and unconscious next to the Redecoke. That's the municipal bathing pool we have. It's one of those sinkholes.
Yeah.
It was, I tell you, it was quite strange. There was like what is this star with 5 points called? Was chalked on the ground, and there were all those candles. It was absolutely strange.
Like some sort of strange ritual.
Yeah, exactly.
And you say that you've seen the professor and her, they were seen together a number of times going back and forth to Munchausen.
Well, from what we could, let me see, from what we could find out, she took him, she visited her parents together with him.
So her parents were there. Yeah, how is the woman? Is she unconscious in the hospital?
They brought her to her parents. She seems to be still unconscious.
She's with her parents.
The doctor couldn't find anything wrong with her. She's just in a deep sleep, he says.
She's asleep and she won't wake up. Have you had any other odd disappearances or incidents like this lately?
Well, there are the missing Fuhrmacher children.
Missing children? How many?
A boy and a girl. Do you think that's related?
I have no idea.
That's the only reason I'm still here is because we were keeping the station manned longer in case we hear something. Tomorrow there will be another search party for the kids.
Where did they go missing?
They live near, the Fuhrmachers live near the woods on the eastern outskirts of town, and they've been missing since yesterday, which is quite disconcerting.
I'm not sure if you'd like to leave a note about me or my presence, or if you think that I should pop in tomorrow. But I'm going to continue looking, and I'll certainly inform you of anything that I find.
Oh, yeah, sure.
All right. Well, you have a good evening, officer.
Yeah. I hope I could help you.
And I shake his hand and I walk away. And then I come back to the hotel where I've got 4 drunk colleagues. And, we're eating.
I probably more just full than actually drunk.
They're eating schnitzel with noodles, and
Bratwurst.
I join them.
Oh,
I tell them everything. I tell them everything that I just found out.
And beer pizza.
What are the kids' names, Carl? And don't tell us Hans and Greta.
Are we going to find a witch in the forest? I know how ridiculous that sounds.
I don't know. There's so many parallels out here with these grim fairy tales. It's creepy.
Well, that's sort of the thing that the brothers were interested in too, is all the local variations, how all these small places have their own versions of the stories. And
also children going missing in the woods. Woods are treacherous. People go missing in the woods all the time.
For kids that live in the outskirts, they usually probably know not to go into the woods on their own.
The children,
even then, you can trip, you can fall, you can get in a situation.
The children disappeared yesterday.
Yes, apparently.
So it's after the doctor checked out.
The doctor checked out and then bought flowers that day. So we have a cold trail since he bought the flowers. That's actually the last location.
Was found.
The girl is at her parents' house in Munchausen.
I think we should pay them a visit.
Yeah. Also, they found her in the morning of Wednesday, which means that she did something Tuesday night.
She was in the middle of a chalked pentagram with candles all around, like some sort of satanic ritual.
Fascinating.
Oh,
she wasn't in the water. She was in a pentagram.
Yeah, which is quite odd because I didn't think that the fairy tales or any of the fairy tale leads have anything to do with witchcraft.
Oh, there's witches all over them.
Yeah, but they're not usually drawing pentagrams and worshiping Satan. They're making candy houses and eating children.
Yeah. Although the Schneewittchen witch, she can transform herself and others. She caused Snow White to sleep. But I feel like the culture of pentagrams and candles seems rather alien. But these books of nonsense have been around. Translated.
Do you think they got rid of the circle, or do you think it's still there?
I mean, on the one hand, it's evidence. On the other hand, if they want the pools to be open.
I think the whole concept of making sigils on the ground and stars and stuff, that's kind of medieval, isn't it?
More of a protective kind of thing. Usually it's to keep things
it usually
in.
Protects the person inside.
It keeps things in or keeps things out.
Did the officer say anything about like maybe any unusual words written as well?
He didn't say.
You might not know.
Yeah. Did the professor, if he made the chalk markings, did he keep the chalk with him? There are a number of... I'm concerned because the only evidence we have that Erling is still alive is that he bought the silk flowers the next day. Did
he buy them in here, in this town?
No, he bought them in Eliahausen, just not far away.
He gets around.
And I guess it's past the point where everyone thought he was missing, so no one would notice him with all the flowers.
Carl, do you think the missing children have anything to do with their professor?
I don't know. I asked him if there was any other things. I was hoping he'd say there's some sort of weird sleeping sickness but missing children, I doubt that it has anything to do with it, but keep that in the back of your mind.
Just
in case there's a connection.
I like to believe it's nothing, but it's a bit disconcerting how there seems to be like a weird correlative
I mean, he could have
chain
just
of
as
events.
easily said somebody across town got drunk and beat their wife.
Hmm.
Does it have anything to do with our story? Nothing at all. But maybe, you never know.
It seems a bit too
Suddenly
odd to be
tie in.
nothing.
I'll be relieved if we don't, take the bus up to Mechthausen and find the tall obsidian tower behind a wall of thorns.
With a woman with really long hair hanging.
Exactly.
Did you dream about that like earlier today?
For continuity's sake, when we last played, Josef and I both talked about our dream when we woke.
Yeah, you did.
Wait. I hate to say it, but now is our young woman Sleeping Beauty.
I was thinking something like that, but I didn't want it to believe it.
Would it be
We
worthwhile
encounter a
to?
bunch of little dwarves, 7 of them.
Would it be worthwhile to visit this pool, the Red Cook?
Oh, definitely.
Before we go to
That's where I'm
Munchausen, yes.
Well, perhaps we should split up.
I'm starting to wonder if he once again was trying to summon the fish,
Or the Frog
make a
King, just
wish,
something.
the fish wish, or the frog king, or
We don't have, the police don't have haven't placed Professor Erling at that pool at all.
No, they just want to know what she knows about her.
That's
They
where
just
she-
know they were
See what-
traveling together.
That's where she was found.
That's where she was found, but she could have made the chalk marks, lit the candles.
She didn't
Gone
need
to
to make
bed
it
and
a-
died.
It's suspicious that the professor checked out in the middle of the night.
It was
So,
also, they did find her that morning. They checked out Wednesday night, or did he check out Wednesday morning?
They
Oh,
The-
Wednesday
the-
morning, 1 a.m.
Sorry, Pascal.
Wednesday morning on 1 a.m. he checked out.
And she was
the
found
pool-
how much later?
He said in the early morning hours.
Like a few hours
So-
later. Something
so
happened.
yeah,
He ran.
they may have been together. Something terrible happened. He came back and checked out to protect himself, or to who knows? We don't
Or
know.
flee whatever got Ana Rosa.
And then later that same day, he
Whoever.
ordered all the flowers at the nearby town.
Do you know? Oh, she had blonde hair because Snow White's sister was rose red. Ana Rosa.
Something keeps popping into my head about that story from the Grimm letter about the Frederick boy and the
Right,
voice,
the cemetery.
the fishy voice says to him, "Why did you come back?
Wait. Like-
Why did you come back?"
Oh, like the fisherman and the wishing fish.
Well, Ana Rosa
Well-
came back to her small town too. I'll be
also,
interested
like,
to see what
supposed-
sort of family she has.
Well, the bus would be around by 10 a.m., 1 p.m., or 5 p.m. So I
Let's
say
all
we
get a good night's sleep. Yeah.
and we'll think about how we'll do this, and maybe try to hit the 5 p.m. bus.
Why wouldn't we take the first bus?
I say we check the pool out to see if they have that sigil around,
Hmm.
just to get some idea what happened.
Is it possible the pool is still open? We
This
could
time of
go
night,
tonight?
probably not.
It might be a good idea to talk to a more senior member of the investigation during the business hours. Did Ana Rosa have chalk on her hands and chalk in the pocket of her dirndl? Did did
that
she have a
wasn't
book
just
of
there.
matches in her other pocket?
Some of that wasn't just writing down everything the detective said.
Yeah.
Was she doing it herself, or was somebody doing
That
it? to
there
her?
again, we have no idea that we have nothing that proves to us that Professor Erling was at the pool.
Hmm.
I'm not saying he wasn't, but we need more details.
It'll be better in the morning, I think, after we've slept some.
It
Yeah,
looks like a
so-
lovely night. I think I'm going to take a walk around the town, smoke my pipe. Would anybody like to join me?
I'll accompany you.
Perhaps keep an idea on where these meadows may have been.
All right, just be careful. There's something weird going on here.
I think Daniel and I can handle ourselves, but thank you, Carl.
Pascal,
Can we take a quick 5-minute break?
Okay, sure.
All right, thank you.
5 minutes later.
So, Daniel and Walter, you're taking a stroll around the town. Any certain specific thing you're aiming for?
I remember from the letter from Grimm that he wandered around the fields near the pool. So I'm sure that's been built up since then. But I do want to head down towards where that pool would have been and kind of just explore the neighborhood.
So you ask for directions?
Oh, definitely from the concierge.
I probably bring up we should also.
Well, he can tell you that basically there are a couple of smaller of these sinkholes even within the city limits, but the biggest one would be for once the Redicoke, which is next to the train line. If you just follow the street adjacent to the train line, you would find it. And on the other side of town, near the woods, there would be what's called the Children's Sea, which is basically a little smaller one, but it's more or less used as a local dump area. So builders use it to dump the rubbish from building sites and stuff like that.
That doesn't sound like an enjoyable walk to me, Daniel.
No. And that would be a little longer walk. And there is the Silver Hole, which is north of town, but that would be like a good 2 hours march.
The railway sounds nice.
Yeah.
Appropriate. 10, 15-minute walk. We can have a little chat.
Are there any specific cemeteries in town?
Oh, well, there is the cemetery at the church and the Jewish cemetery. Not at the church. Sorry, it's the big cemetery is on the east side of town.
Okay.
In the Jewish cemetery, if this is the same town that Fritz died in, that's where he was buried, correct?
That
Probably
is correct. The Jewish cemetery is next to the Jewish temple and the high school.
What is that in relation to where we're going? Would it take us an hour or?
No, it's basically en route.
Great. Let's check them all out, Daniel.
Take a look.
So you walk down the street. It's middle of May, so light is still not completely gone as you walk down the street, and you pass a small fenced area with two big buildings. You're looking at them from the backside. One seems to be the school building, and the other one, a little smaller one, looks like it is the Jewish temple. It has Cross of David in the windows. And there is on your side, directly adjacent to the temple, there is a small cemetery.
I was going to say we just
Can
take
we
a small
visit?
look.
Yeah, it's a gate. You can just walk in.
After you, Daniel.
Yeah. Let's see if we can find that Fritz's name somewhere.
Or any very old.
Anything similar.
Yeah.
we do it proves at least the letter was true, which
So
adds a few other things.
You walk along the lines of gravestones, and you're looking for the name Friedrich.
Yeah.
It was Fritz,
Spothead.
wasn't it?
Not a common name in Germany, I'm sure.
You know,
I think there was like a full
you know,
name for him in like the letter, or no?
It's old enough that oh yeah, Frederick, our Fritz. But yeah, anything that's like around the right time, early 19th century.
Do a spot hidden, both.
I got a 0-2 and my spot hitting's 35, so that's an extreme success.
Yeah, you find a gravestone, which
I basic success.
Yeah, but I think with the extreme, you find what you were looking for. You find a headstone that is fitting from the date of death, with the name Fritz Ipscher.
Daniel, come look at this.
Oh, let me write this down.
Is there anything else on the headstone? Or however it's marked?
It just says our good friend.
Fascinating.
Death, yeah.
We'll have to show our friends tomorrow, or just tell
I'll
them.
write it down. Just write it down just to have it down.
And as you're standing there, there is a man coming out of the back of the temple. He walks over to you. Hello there, can I help you? He's wearing a respectable suit.
No, good sir. We were just checking something. No big deal.
Hello, I'm Walter von Arenbert. We're visiting your town.
Oh.
And this is my friend Daniel Lieberman.
I'm Jacob Simon, the rabbi of this congregation.
Very nice to meet you, sir. We were just noticing this memorial to a Fritz Ipschi.
Yeah, that's interesting. You're the second party interested in him in the last within the last week.
Truly.
Was an
that
older
is
man,
interesting.
Was an older man like a few days ago asked about this?
Yeah, and Professor Erling, and he was accompanied by a young woman.
Oh, was it Tuesday?
I think so. Yeah, it was on Tuesday.
Did you talk with them as you?
Yeah. They were interested in to look at some documents we have here. The professors seem to be very interested in the time of this Fritz has been buried here.
Would it be too much of us to ask at this
We could look as well.
hour to look? I can make a donation to your temple.
Not at all, but I hope you will. You won't mind. I had to I had to translate the notes the professor was interested in, so I really don't want to do that. That again.
It should be fine. I think I can read them.
What language are they in?
In Yiddish.
Ah,
I think we'll be fine. I think I can. I haven't practiced that hard, but I've known it for most of my life.
So you then come into the house, please.
All right. Thank you.
thank you very much.
So. Well, if you take a seat, I'll see if I can find the text. They were particularly interested in two notes by an old rabbi who was the rabbi here for a long time. I think he was the rabbi until from the middle of the 18th to the beginning of the 19th century. But I have them somewhere here. I didn't put them back. Let me see.
Bill 29, 5,512. Have I done the right thing? This question has tormented me for months, and thus I entrusted to this book, so others, wiser than I, may judge it in distant years. Sometimes one cannot help but incur guilt, and so it was probably right to ask Mr. Hinsel to leave town. Nothing could be less beneficial to our community than quarrels of the Christian Council. Nevertheless, I missed the good master's wise encouragement, for he was undoubtedly a man of great knowledge, whose figures and symbols I myself was not able to follow, which he based on the writings of the Talmud, often laid out before me, nor do I think of the wisdom of the words scriptures revealed to one solely for the interpretation of the Kabbalah. But it must stand as a fact that he prophesied that evil befall us, and this was, if not in every item, yet generally the truth. And for this very reason, I had to tell him to go. For men won't punish, for men aren't wont to punish the bearer of bad tidings rather than its cause. And in the meantime, have I not succeeded in keeping the madness of the last few weeks separate from the innocent work of our congregation? To counter all the false suspicions that all too readily available when it comes to the sons and daughters of Israel. So I had to conceal the fact that Sarah Salich, wife of Aaron and daughter of Joshua, like two Christian women, had borne a child no bigger than the span of my hand, which nevertheless survived the Sabbath 7 times before it massively passed away. But these and other evils seems to me only seem like a penetrable cloud before which true evil is hidden. Do you really have to do with that evil and merry festival which Master Hinsel had rallied so vehemently? With the strange music of the motley-haired foreign minstrel? These celebrations for which the simple-minded Hannah then returned, though not the only one in good hope. Hannah, which then disappeared, probably threw herself into the water in shame, like many other frivolous things, or even into one of those new devil's holes, on the shore of which one only sees evil people. May blessings be upon the way of Master Hinsel, and may the heavens forgive my denial of hospitality. We here, however, Jews and Christians alike, will have to do once again. We were always done since the days of Job, when faith struck us, to test the strength of our faith, to build up, to heal, and complete the works of the Lord with the strength of our youth.
So, Jim, I'm sorry. So these are notes that Dr. Erling asked for? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
He took particular interest in this one and in this one.
ER 13, 557, 1,570. I have seen so many things on this earth, good things and bad, reason, simplicity and madness, joy and sorrow, and despite many strokes of fate, and even the death of my beloved wife the previous winter, I must admit, I have had a good life, and what is more, a longer one than most. But now it seems that everything has been in vain, the work and hope of a life that is yet to be crowned by our wonderful new synagogue, because it has returned. Forgive me, Lord, if I have doubt of your counsels, but in the first deceased tomb I've had to lay rest in your new home, I again recognize the signs. Although the exact circumstances seem to be of a completely different nature than at that time, an age ago, I again feel the raising of an evil of insanity and violence, which clouds our perception, so we shall not fathom its fitted source this time either. A young man was brought to me, still a youth, from a foreign city to which his long deceased parents left nothing but the Teutonic name Friedrich, probably in the hope of furthering his later career. A beast is said to have attacked him, a beast that left no traces, but both I and his comrade recognize the bite marks of a human when we see them. Near the city, and as they say here and there in the woods, earth has once more opened up, and its gaping wounds was filled with foul-smelling water. At night, they say, one hears singing from there, but others say they only hear adolescent's boy holding a test of courage. Yesterday, I spotted a colorful wagon of a juggler in a meadow near the Sonnenberg. I seem to remember dimly having seen one just like it all those years ago, and just as all those years ago, the wind carried some kind of rhyme. Something about a mouse and a big fur cap. So curious, even the scholarly comparison of that young Frederick was quite intrigued by it when I mentioned it. I will therefore order my congregation to stay at home as much as possible the next few months, immersed in prayer, and to avoid all public amusements, even the approaching free shooting and fair. In contrast to the Christians, we are not forbidden by our laws to commit suicide in the greatest need. I hope that heaven will be merciful to us.
Goodness. When we saw the Harlequin, was he dressed in many colors, or was it a black and white Harlequin?
It was many colors.
Many colors.
Walter, I think as Daniel like puts on the paper after, I guess, vaguely explaining it in like German from Yiddish to you.
Yeah, you need
it's a bit
need
unsettling.
a little time to copy it down, and
yes, probably takes like an hour at like the earliest, probably.
How about it? Did they say why they were interested in these particular notes?
Well, he was interested in the Friedrich, and while looking through the notes, we found the later entry in the diary of this rabbi. And the first one was really just a stroke of luck, skimming through the notes. He seemed to be very interested in this Friedrich, and they seemed so similar. That's what I understood from him.
I don't know those dates. When would they be in
sure,
in our regular calendar?
Let me see. There would be the first one would be the 8th of September 1752, and the second one the 17th of May 1810.
Is interesting.
But that tracks of something we've like looked into. So this is a bit surprising, but miraculous to say the least.
Well, thank you for your time, Rabbi.
Oh, sure, sure.
If you see the professor or the young lady again, can you let them know we're looking for them? We're staying at the Golden Lamp.
That something happened to the young lady. From what I heard, she's not in a good state.
That's what we understand as well. Yes, the professor's wife has asked us to see if we could find him. So we're trying to find him. By the way, one of the very odd things we've heard is that the professor bought a great deal of silk flowers. Have you heard or seen anything?
Silk?
I'm just a stab in the dark.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Well, thank you, Rabbi.
Well, whatever did he want them for?
We don't
Trying to find out.
We think it might be a sign of his weakening grasp on unreality, but we're not sure at this point.
So as you step out of the temple and say goodbye to the young rabbi,
and I make sure I do give him some money to thank him for his time.
Oh, we'll put that to good use. Thank you so much. And shalom. And it has gotten dark now. You still want to?
I think we should head back, Daniel. There's a lot to share with our friends.
I think this is eventful.
Yes,
I think
I
we
do.
should check the other place before we go to Munchausen.
I agree. I did want to speak to you, so I was glad that I had this moment to walk with you alone. As you know, once in a while I've helped you and your partner with a variety of different cases and things like that. And I have to admit, I've quite enjoyed myself. And I was wondering what you thought about perhaps me moving from an amateur status to either joining you in the firm or perhaps starting something on my own.
I'm not against the idea, but that's not my choice to make. You have to talk to Henning about that. I think that he owns the building, or I guess he owns the office, and I think it's more his call to make. So
I see.
I won't be against it, but I can't say.
I've enjoyed working with you in our past in the war. You're a good man, and as you know, one who doesn't have anything to do does get bored. So I'm looking to challenge myself a little.
When the people get bored, they go on a mad dash across many towns buying silk flowers.
As we have done.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Okay, you informed the others this night, or do you?
I probably, when I get back to my door, back to the hotel room, I probably hand-heading the papers if he's not asleep, and then I'll probably tell him we're going to tell the others 2 in the morning because they're probably sleeping.
Yeah,
I probably wake up when you come in.
Well, Henning.
Yeah, you get in and let's say you wake him up. Okay.
You didn't go all the way to the bath area, the bathing area?
We found the cemetery though.
Oh. So those stories check out. That's
yeah, which is a bit, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bit worrisome.
Starting to wonder if there's like some sort of underground cult here.
There seems to be a thing about every time a sinkhole happens, something bad happens.
Well, you described the rabbi talking about the times of old when these things happened before.
Yeah. I'm worried if like every time a sinkhole happens, something comes out of it or something comes with it.
Local superstition people start worshiping the devil or something.
It also seems to be stuff you always do that Harlequin, or even when the rifle festival comes up.
I don't know. I just want to find the old man and get back to Berlin.
I mean, that's fair, but I wonder if he's also followed all these leads too.
The point is that if he's one of them, I mean, if he's looking to become one of them and imagines that there's magic and superstition and all that's real, that doesn't make it real. It just makes him nuttier.
True. But
I'm
still a bit nervous. I'm still a bit concerned considering the letter about the boy being attacked by that weird creature, and that's followed up by a separate note, which means it wasn't just a hallucination. It means something happened.
For all we know, it was just a rough draft of, I mean, people can use tragedy as inspiration to write stories. But yeah, I mean, why did you come back? Really keeps eating at me. The better to eat me with. What
So-
big teeth you have.
Almost like a mix of one story bleeding into the other.
Anyway, get
I'll
some
tell them-
sleep.
I'll show them this in the morning, and then we'll figure out what we'll do. Probably just go to Munchausen after we check out the pool.
Let's go to sleep.
I try not to wake up Hans as I go into our room. I'm gonna sit up though and smoke my pipe in the dark for a little while and think.
Okay, but at one point or another, all of you have turned in, and you've fallen asleep. When you suddenly, all of you wake up, you just stare, and you have this awful smell of rotten fish in your nose, and you sit up, and you see that all of you are sitting on the ground, and all in front of you are fields as wide as the eye can see, fields of wheat or rye. But from somewhere there's this disgusting fishy stench.
Do we see each other?
Yeah, you see each other.
Is it daylight?
Yeah, it's the sun is high in the sky.
I checked my watch.
You want to check your watch, and there is no watch, and you look down at on yourself, and you're wearing strange clothing.
Like colorful, like clothing out of a painting.
No, like something from medieval times.
Yes.
Like a tunic.
Yeah, like a tunic and breeches.
Hoping I'm well dressed,
Yeah,
because that's important to me.
you're basically in more silks, whereas Hans is looks like a scholarly robe. And Daniel and Carl, you're looking down yourself. You see that you have there's a sword on your side.
Where is that god awful fish smell coming from? Look, man.
Well, you look around and you realize that you really don't want to turn around. You're all looking in one direction, and you look to the sides, but when you want to turn your head more, it's like something is preventing you from. Like there's this feeling of disgust once you turn your head.
Does the smell come from a direction, or is it just like permeating everywhere?
From behind you.
And there's nothing else but this wheat field. There's no forest, there's no mountains, there's no villages.
Nothing. As far as you can see.
Can I stand?
Yeah, you can stand up. Sure.
Can I pull out my sword
Look at the
and
reflection.
Yeah.
look in the reflection of my sword?
Well, yes, you can. And what would you see? It's not easy to identify anything in the reflection, but
Colors, I guess.
there seems to be something behind you, like buildings or something.
And yet I'm afraid to look at them. I'm afraid to look back.
Well, you can try to force yourself to turn around. You all just have this feeling that you don't want to turn around.
Does my leg hurt? Do I have my limp?
No.
I passed a willpower, so I can.
Yeah, you can turn
I'm
around.
going to turn around.
I think I
slowly.
want to turn as well, because
I'll try
obviously
this.
it's a dream if I'm not in pain.
We'll try the same.
Yeah, I'm going to as well because I need to back up penning.
Keeper, I've sent you a private message.
Okay.
Do we need to roll willpower or something?
Well, I did just to see if I
Okay. Hmm.
make it past my own psyche.
Wait, let me just check. Great. Do you have occult?
I have a little, yeah. I have 35.
Well, do check.
94. Never mind.
No, you don't. Do you try to turn around as well?
I'm going to let these other people
Okay.
start. I'm thinking about something really hard that I can't remember.
You all passed that, I think. So you turn around. What you see is there is in a little distance there are ruins of a big city, and adjacent to it you see a big lake, and that's where this stench of fish is coming from. The lake looks dark. It looks dirty. And a fog is rising from the lake and going through to the ruined city.
And does the
Like
city look looks ruined? Okay.
At the Lake of Evil Water.
Do the runes look age appropriate to our dress?
Age appropriate. They look like they've been in decay for a long, long time.
I mean, like the period, or do they look like Roman runes?
They look like ancient buildings.
Okay.
And as you ponder it, you're suddenly within these ruins. You're standing in the middle of a street. The crumbling walls are towering over you. You can all do a sand check.
Did I get pulled along?
You're pulled along, yeah. All 5 of you.
I failed.
Passed.
Thus,
So pass is 0 and fail is 1.
I move closer to Daniel out of habit when we're in dangerous situations.
And
I'll put my hands on on the handle of my sword.
the fog is all around you. It's rising. And you have the feeling that you can't hear very well. All sounds are dampened. And in front of you, in the distance, you see this. You're like on the main road, and there's something like a big pyramid directly next to the lake, which this street leads to.
And no signs of other beings. Birds crying, people.
Buzzing.
Do listen roll.
Daniel, my limp is gone. How is your face?
I guess I put my hand to my face.
Mm-hmm.
I got an 01.
Okay. Everyone who passed, you hear movements, very dampened, very subdued. But there's something moving, but no birds, no calls, no voices. But
Moving.
you hear movement. You hear the waves from the lake, and you hear splashes in between, as if something moves just out of sight.
I'm going to go toward the pyramid.
Stick together, everybody.
But I still like check my face. Just do like,
Yeah, you still have the scars.
okay. Still there.
As usual, my limp is gone. This is obviously a dream, and you all are just in my dream. I'm imagining you're real in here with me. It's fascinating.
The same, which is quite peculiar.
Or are you just a butterfly dreaming that you're a man in a like?
And
We talked about this before. It's not.
do you just stand there, or are you moving somewhere?
No, we're going
No,
toward the pyramid.
Towards the
Okay,
pyramid.
you're going
Yeah.
towards the pyramid.
Although, Joseph, if any hair comes out of a hole in the pyramid, I'm not climbing again.
I concur.
It takes you quite some time. The pyramid seems to be bigger than you thought. You're walking for minutes, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And when you reach the foot of the pyramid, it's like not flat and shiny surface, but there are steps on your side.
What color is it? The stone?
The stone seems to be black, but there's something on it, like brown, reddish brown.
Like it was underwater, or like it's been covered with blood?
Like, yeah, is it like basalt with like really old blood?
You bend down, and it seems to be dried blood.
Like some old Aztec pyramid. They had blood
Something.
sacrifice.
It looks a bit like that, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, fellow dreamers, when Prince and I fell down from Rapunzel's tower, we just woke up. So I don't think we need to be afraid of what happens here. We might as well see who's on top.
You want to climb the pyramid.
We've been brought to it. It might stink less up there.
I would agree. I feel that Herr Freud's theories would say if there's a pyramid, you must climb it. I begin to climb.
Looks like 1,000 feet up.
It's hard to say, but could be, yeah. It's
I've
tall.
marched. I've marched more than 2 days.
It takes quite some time, and it's a little treacherous to climb these stairs with this brown stuff on it.
Is it on every step?
It's all over the pyramid. It's on every step, but in the middle of the it's like scraped away a little bit in the middle, and you can see
Something was
stretch
dragged up.
marks on the stone.
Like something was dragged up the middle.
Or clambered up with claws.
Hmm.
And as you near the top, you see an opening.
There's a door.
It's like a gate.
Like made of.
The entrance back to the womb. Clearly, I've moved into a deeper stage.
I want to turn around, and what do we see behind us? The landscape. Do we see the land below, or is it foggy?
You see the side you're on is facing towards the lake. So you look down, and you can see shapes moving in the lake. There are things in there. Hundreds of things.
Big things or smaller things?
Human-sized,
So-
maybe a little bigger. They're moving just under the water.
All right, I'll turn back around.
Let's go
As
to the
you
entrance.
turn back around, you can, in the distance, along the lake, very far in the distance, you think you see another city, a white city, but it's very far away. It's just a notion of buildings that you might see there.
Well, let's head up towards the entrance.
Opening like just an alcove, or is it like a metal?
Yeah, it's not
gate?
like an alcove.
Oh, okay.
You go into, you enter it,
Mhm.
and it opens up into a big hall, bigger than the top of this pyramid should permit. The walls look a bit like they are a cave, and in the middle of there's rubble all around you, all around on the floor, and in the middle there's a big pedestal, like 4 by 4 meters, and about like shoulder height, and there are drag marks on this pedestal and on the floor towards the opening.
As if something had been removed and dragged away.
Yeah, there might be like
Yeah.
a statue here. Like this used to be a temple and they defaced it.
The pedestal is empty.
The pedestal is empty, yeah. But
Are
there are
signs
signs. There are signs on the pedestal.
Letters, like, can
They
you
like
read
in
them?
language
or-
we understand.
There are no signs that any one of you has ever seen. But do intelligence.
Nope.
Not a great night for me rolling wise.
I passed.
Success.
I am 2 points away from an extreme. Does that matter?
No.
Okay. It's a hard then.
Okay. Those who pass, you have never seen these symbols, but somehow you understand that they tell of a being called Bokruk. This name, you just know that is the name of that what was worshipped here, and that it was a great god of a kind of lizard people. You all take 2 points. Those who pass take 2 points of sanity, and you gain 5 mythos.
Okay, 2 sanity damage.
Yeah.
I mean, this makes perfect sense to me because I'm dreaming. Obviously, these are words in my own mind.
So what does your mind tell you they say?
Well, you're a projection of me, so you know it, but I suppose the dream wants me to say it aloud for some reason. And I reiterate what we understood.
Are you doing anything else in there?
And I feel like the I've learned something deep about myself in the world.
The blood, it doesn't look like a sacrifice. It looks like a bloodbath, right? Like there was a slaughter.
Yeah.
Is the scratches in the pedestal, do they have blood in them? Are they older than the blood, or are they newer?
They seem to be newer.
There's a story in the Bible about a temple being violated. I don't remember what it is.
Is
A pagan temple.
it possible that the city
I don't
was
know.
destroyed and then they took the statue?
Yeah, as spoils.
Or did the statue taken and that's why the city fell apart? Was this
It's obvious
the
that the
patron?
blood was before they took the statue, so it's obvious that he's killed those that were protecting the temple.
I don't think anything's obvious, but it's odd. Now, the last time Prince and I woke up when we fell, I don't like falling even in dreams, though. Maybe if I just,
sit down.
You, Hans and Dr. Prince, you have a little different feeling like as the last time. This feels more real. The last time was really like a normal dream of some sort. You felt very detached from yourself.
Right. This time it actually hurt to climb the pyramid, whereas
it was strenuous, yeah.
Yeah, climbing Rapunzel's hair was kind of an intellectual exercise. So I guess I won't throw myself down the pyramid. And also that if that means that this place is dangerous, maybe we should, I don't know, look for shelter.
Anything else in this room besides the rubble and the pedestal?
You're searching?
Yeah, I'm looking around.
Okay, do a spot hidden.
So the corridor ends in just that empty room with a...
Yeah.
Okay.
Normal success.
Okay, you look around and you see a gleaming of gold within the rubble in one corner.
I guess I'll levy a rock out of the way just to see what it is.
You brush the rubble aside and there's a coin, like a big coin, like 2 inches across. Seems to be made from gold, and it has the image of this strange thing with scales and a broad mouth on it, like a lizard thing. Did you pass the intelligence roll?
I did.
This is definitely what those signs were talking about. And as you pick the coin up, all of you wake up in your beds, and it's morning.
I was like picking up to like go look at the backside. I guess before you get to look at the backside, I wake up.
You try to turn around, and that's and no, you don't have the coin. And I think that's where we make the cut.
Wild. Our players included Brian Ridge, David Gasaway, Max Dull, Steve Anderson, and myself, with Pascal Breitenfeld as our keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.